Okay.
So this is Sukkah Daf Nun 50. If you put the water in a kli shares, if stilulahu belina, then overnight it's going to be possible belina. So they were not miskadish it until the next morning. You don't have to worry about it. Because as long as you don't have das to be miskadish it, a kli shares will not be miskadish. So why did we do it this way? Because people will think that they were miskadish it. Even according to the Mandorma that says there is a shear, how much water to use, and the klishoris you need das, but the reason we do it the way we described is otherwise people will think we filled it up from the kiyur, or we're using this water for kiddush yadayim v'raglayim, and not for nisuch hamayim. We want people to realize they're doing it for nisuch hamayim. Then we said nishbachon is galsa if the water was uncovered overnight or spilled. So there was a way you could take the water from the kiyur. Pour the water through a filter, get rid of the venom, and you could use the water. Maybe Levi Maslisim look Rav Nechemia. Since our Mishnah didn't allow this, it must be that our Mishnah is like Rav Nechemia. The time Misanenes yesh bosh mishum gilui. Chachamim say that if you take water that was left overnight, has venom, you can't cure it with a filter. As long as the bottom is still open. Rav Nechemia says you can correct water that's been left overnight through filtering. The venom is like a sponge. It sort of stays where it is. So maybe our Mishnah that didn't give us the opportunity to filter it maybe is not Rav Nechemia. Where it says, no, afilu temer Rav Nechemia. You could say that our Mishnah is Rav Nechemia. But maybe Emadam Rav Nechemia lahedyoy. That's using a filter for a regular person who wants to drink water that stood overnight. Aval agavo mi amri. But he would never allow it for hegdish. Because for our Kodesh Baruch you have to do things that are beyond kavod for a human being. So certainly it would not be covered to use such water for the base of Mikdash. New perek Chamishi. Echalil Chamisha v'shisha. Sometimes they play the Chalil because it was not Doicha Shabbos, either 5 days or 6 days. They played it in the Beis HaShoeva. Zeh Chalil shel Beis HaShoeva, she'ena dech alos HaShabbos v'los Yontif. They only did it on Chol HaMoed. So it depends. If one of the Chol HaMoeds was Shabbos, then you only did it for 5 days. Itmar. Rav Yudav Ravina. Chad Tani. When we say Simchas Beis HaShoeva, what word is that? One says Shoeva, pouring. Chad Tani, no. Simchas Chashuva, it's important. And other Marzutra, Mandatani Shoeva lo mishtabesh, Mandatani Chashuva lo mishtabesh. Neither are confused. Mandatani Shoeva lo mishtabesh, Tichsiv Ushafte Mayim Besaso. So you see, Mayim is, there's Sheiva. Mandatani Chashuva lo mishtabesh, Damar Rav Nachman, Mitzvah Chashuva yi. Simchas Beis HaShoeva is a Mitzvah Chashuva. Uba Misheshis Yemei Breishis. It's even from Sheshis Yemei Breishis. Tan Rabbanan Chalil Doiches HaShabbos to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, Chalil, you blow Chalil on Shabbos. Chacham say no, it's not Doiches Shabbos, not Doiches Yontif. Am Rav Yosef, Machloikas B'shir Shel Korban. That's when you're bringing the Korban and the Levium have to sing, and they sing along with the Chalil. Rabbi Yosef Sover Iker Shir B'Kli. The main shir is not with their mouth, but with the Kli. Therefore, since you do korbanos on Shabbos, and you need a shira with the korban, you're allowed to blow the chalil. Avoidi v'doiches a Shabbos. Our rabbanon serve ikar shira b'peh. Shira is with the mouth. The chalil is just an accompaniment. V'lav avoidi, and therefore ain't a doiches a Shabbos. Aval shir shel, that's the machloikas between Rabbi Yossi and Chachamim. Aval shir shel shoyeva, divrei akol simcha. It's not an avoida ve'ain't a doiches a Shabbos, and there's no machlokas. Where do we see that they are arguing, in fact, in this issue? The Tanya. klishari shason shel eitz. One of the klisharis that was made out of wood. Rabbi Poisel, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda Machshir. Rabbi says it's got to be metal. Now, what's the machlokes in here? My laba kamufiki. Man de Machshir savar ikar shir bekli. Main shir is with a kli. V'al finan me abuba de Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu had a certain instrument, the abuba, which was made out of wood. So, if the ikar shir was a kli made out of wood, you can have kelim according to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda made out of wood. But Rabbi will hold man the apostle over ikar shir bepeh. The loyal finam abuba de Moshe. And therefore, just because Moshe Rabbeinu made a wooden instrument doesn't mean that the other kelim could be wood. The Gemara thinks that that's the machlokes. The Gemara says, "Lo, kulam ikar shir bekli." Everybody learns that ikar shir is bekli. So I learned from the abuba of Moshe that you could have wooden kelim. No. Can you learn something from something that's impossible? Man de machshir savar darin efshar mishi efshar. Rabbi Yossi says you can use wooden kelim, because even though you can only make this abub out of wood and not out of any other material, you can still learn from that instrument that other kelim could be wood. But Rebbe will hold, man the apostles are loy don efshar mishi efshar. You can't learn a halacha from the fact that this flute of Moshe Rabbeinu was only made out of wood. B-boy Sema, really, it's a different machlokes. The kol almi ikir shir bepeh has nothing to do with the kli that Moshe Rabbeinu. Really, the shir is with your mouth. It's not. You can't learn anything about the kelim from that. And they ain't done an efshar mishi efshar. You can't learn a halacha from the fact that this instrument was only made out of wood. Rather, for example, what material can you make the menorah out of? What material depends on whether you learn it, the pasuk there, beklalu prat, or beribuyu miyut. Rabbi Darsh klalu prati, and Rabbi Yisrael Darsh ribuyu miyuti. Rabbi Darsh klalu prati vasita menorah zahav tahor miksha tasa menorah. So we darshan like this: vasita menorah, make a menorah klal. You can make it out of anything, but then you say zahav tahor. You got to make it out of gold prat. That's a detail. Then you say again, miksha tasa menorah, make it one piece. Chazer v'kolal, we're back to using any material. So whenever you have a klalu pratu klal format, iyatadana lakena prat, you look at the detail. Ma prat mefurish, what is gold? Shel mateches, of course shel mateches. At least what we're learning, according to Rebbe, that the menorah has to be out of metal. It doesn't have to be gold, it could be any metal. Rabbi Yosef Darsh ribiyum liti. Vasita menorahs, riba is a riba. Zov tor miye. You limited it. Miksha tasa menorah chazav riba. Whenever you have a structure, riba umiyat riba kol. My Rabbi called mili. So that lechora means you can make it out of anything. My miyat, but there is some limitation. Miyat shel cheres, you can't make it out of clay. So this machlokes, whether you learn it in klal or prat, is the basis for the machlokes between Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So we did no learning tomorrow. We're learning